Have you ever wondered what causes crashes in the housing market and whether we can predict them? Many people do because the housing market affects all of us, whether we are homeowners or not. It's a market influenced by numerous factors such as economic changes, consumer behavior, and government policies. Think about its complementary role in our economy. While the health of the housing market serves as an indicator of prosperity, a crash can trigger financial turmoil nationwide. Do you remember the crash of 2008? It was a striking example of the damage a crash can cause. Home values plummeted, many people lost their homes, and even more found themselves in financial distress. This chaotic period had a lasting impact on the global economy, etching the importance of the housing market into our collective memory. However, crashes don't happen suddenly. They typically result from a series of events, like unstable dominoes balancing precariously. While prevention may not be an option, recognizing the warning signs can help us be prepared for the impact and possibly mitigate the damage. This recognition isn't just about safeguarding our financial well-being. It's about being informed citizens, understanding our world, and making decisions that promote stability. Being proactive rather than reactive allows us to take control of our financial destiny. Knowing the warning signs of a market crash can shield us from devastation. So what are these signs? Let's delve into that next. The number one sign: rapid increase in housing prices. Let's explore this in more detail. Picture a scenario where the real estate market steadily progresses at a comfortable pace, instilling a sense of stability for both homeowners and potential buyers. Then, without warning, housing prices start soaring at an unexpected and alarming rate, akin to a speeding train reaching its peak without any caution signs. This sudden surge not only indicates a robust and thriving market, but often signals a potentially precarious situation. The housing bubble we're talking about here is a phenomenon that can disrupt economies and jeopardize individual financial stability. So what exactly is a housing bubble? Let's examine it with a simple metaphor. Imagine yourself lazily blowing up a bubblegum bubble. The bubble expands slowly at first, then accelerates, growing bigger and shinier with each passing second. Expectations rise until it inevitably becomes too inflated to sustain itself. Suddenly, with a loud pop, it bursts, leaving behind a sticky mess. Now let's apply this imagery to the housing market. Prices rapidly rise until they reach a point far beyond what is economically sustainable. The market becomes strained, unable to support these inflated prices, and eventually bursts under pressure, much like a bubblegum bubble. The aftermath of this burst is akin to what happens after a storm, characterized by a sudden and sharp decline, often culminating in a housing market crash. This can lead to devastating financial consequences, not only for homeowners and investors, but for the economy as a whole. The next time you observe housing prices skyrocketing, approach with caution. It may not be a sign of a thriving market, but rather a bubble on the verge of bursting. The second sign to watch out for is high levels of debt. Let's delve deeper into this concept. As the saying goes, too much of anything is a disaster, and this holds true when it comes to borrowing. High levels of debt in a household mean borrowing more than the financial bandwidth allows. People often fall into this trap due to the enticing prospect of low interest rates, encouraging them to borrow larger amounts than they would under normal circumstances. So where does the problem lie? It arises when these accumulated debts start forming a mountain that seems impossible to conquer. This is akin to a dangerous game of Jenga where one wrong move can topple the carefully built tower. This analogy isn't far from the reality of the housing market. Let's understand this with a simple example. When homeowners can't afford to pay their mortgage installments, they have no choice but to abandon their homes. This can lead to an oversupply of houses on the market. The abundance of houses for sale, coupled with a scarcity of interested buyers, leads to a drop in housing prices. In some cases, this can result in the dreaded housing market crash. The crash isn't just an isolated incident affecting a handful of homeowners. Instead, it's a ripple effect that disrupts the entire housing economy. The potential for such a disaster is not only a cause for concern for individual borrowers, it is a significant concern for the broader housing market and the overall economy. The correlation between increasing debt levels and the risk of market collapse is direct and meaningful. This connection underscores the importance of monitoring household debt levels. Tracking these indicators can help prevent a potential crisis. This concept is not only about personal financial health, it has broader implications for the stability of housing prices and the overall health of the economy. Remember that as debt levels rise, so does the risk of a collapse. The third sign, excessive construction. To fully grasp this, let's first define what excessive construction means in real estate and housing. At its most basic, excessive construction occurs when the construction and creation of new homes surpasses the actual market demand for them. It's akin to baking plenty of pies for a gathering only to find out you have more than enough and end up with leftovers. So what happens when there's an oversupply of available homes and a scarcity of interested buyers? The answer lies in the fundamental principles of economics, the law of supply and demand. In situations where supply exceeds demand, a tendency for prices to fall is natural. Now imagine this scenario on a larger, more comprehensive scale. Picture neighborhoods, municipalities, and even entire cities falling prey to overdevelopment. In such cases, the existing number of homes overshadows potential buyers significantly, resulting in a rapid decline in housing prices. This situation can trigger a gradual effect akin to a domino reaction. Lower prices lead to market devaluation, which in turn can trigger a sudden collapse in the housing market. This looming threat of overdevelopment, often overshadowed as a symbol of growth and prosperity, can in fact be a disguised disaster waiting to happen. It's akin to a time bomb and can wreak havoc when it eventually explodes. When this real estate bubble bursts, it can devastate the housing market and once thriving communities. The aftermath can be destructive, leading to a setback that may take years, even decades, for the market to recover from. Excessive construction may seem like a boon, but it can also be a disaster in disguise. The fourth sign, changes in government regulations. Government policies wield tremendous influence over the housing market, serving as either a catalyst for growth or a potential trigger for decline. Let's consider a policy aimed at lowering mortgage interest rates, for instance. Such a policy serves as an incentive for those considering homeownership, encouraging more people to take their first steps into the real estate world. Increased demand for housing can exert upward pressure on prices and lead to a stronger housing market. However, this isn't always the case. Let's assume the government decides to tighten lending standards. In such a scenario, obtaining a mortgage may become much more challenging, which can have a detrimental effect on demand and potentially lead to price declines. Government regulations also encompass property-related taxation. Changes in these regulations can have a significant impact on market trends. For example, increased property taxes may dampen the confidence of potential buyers, leading to a downturn in market activity. Conversely, tax incentives targeting first-time buyers may serve as timely support, stimulating activity and increasing demand. Zoning laws also play an indispensable role in shaping the housing market. For example, imagine if the government changes these laws to allow for higher density housing in an area previously designated for single-family homes. This influx of homes may surpass demand and result in price declines. Therefore, market stability is closely tied to policy changes. Changes in government regulations can send fluctuations through the housing market, resulting in changes in demand, supply, and prices. Market stability can change when policies change. We've covered a lot of ground, so let's recap a bit. We've examined 15 signs pointing to a possible housing crash. Each sign is a piece of a puzzle that presents a worrisome picture we all need to recognize. We began with the rapid price escalation of housing prices, which serves as a warning of a market overheating and consequently a potential collapse. We then delved into high debt levels. Heavy consumer and business debt can trigger a domino effect that could lead to a collapse in the housing market. Next, we examined the situation of excessive construction characterized by an oversupply of new homes, leading to abundance in the market and consequently price declines. Lastly, we discussed changes in government regulations. Relaxed regulations can incentivize risky lending practices and create an unstable market. In conclusion, these 15 signs are not determinants but indicators of a housing collapse. They're akin to distant thunder before a storm or slight tremors before an earthquake. These are signals we need to pay attention to. They're signals that can help us prepare for what's to come. Understanding these signs can help us make informed choices and safeguard our investments. Remember that understanding these signs can help you navigate the housing market more effectively. Stay informed, stay vigilant, and stay ahead of any potential mishaps. Thank you for watching WealthStream 101. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a like below.